Hey everyone, are you ready to unlock a super simple trick that's going to instantly make your Spanish sound way more natural? Seriously, it's all about connecting your thoughts, and trust me, it's a lot easier than you think. Let's dive in. So, does this ever happen to you? You're trying to speak Spanish and your sentences come out like this. I study Spanish. I practice every day. I want to improve. I mean, it's correct, right? But it just feels a little, I don't know, robotic. It's missing that smooth, natural flow you hear from native speakers.
Just look at this. The difference one tiny word makes is huge. On the left, you've got two separate ideas, kind of floating on their own. But on the right, they're seamlessly connected into one fluid thought. That's the power we're going to tap into today.
So, what is the secret weapon? It's conjunctions. The best way to think of them is like superglue for your sentences. They are the simple little words that link your ideas together, and they transform those short, choppy phrases into longer, more natural-sounding sentences. They're basically the bridges that let your thoughts flow. Okay, let's start with the most fundamental tool in our kit. This is the word you're going to use when you just want to add one idea right on top of another. And that word is "y," which, you guessed it, simply means "and." Its whole job is just to connect two related ideas or actions. It's your absolute go-to for building out your sentences. Let's go back to our first example. I study Spanish and I practice every day are two totally related actions. By popping y in there, they become this single, flowing sentence that really shows your dedication. It just sounds so much better, doesn't it? Here's another one. He's doing two things at the same time, making dinner and listening to music. Y links these two actions perfectly. Él prepara la cena y escucha música. See how smooth and natural that feels?
All right, so that's easy enough. But what happens when your ideas don't just add up nicely? What if they kind of conflict with each other? Well, for that, we need a word that shows a little contrast.
And that word is pero, which of course means but. You should think of pero as your signal that a little twist is coming. It's what you use to introduce an opposing idea or some kind of unexpected outcome. Okay, let's set the stage here. On one side, we have the effort. She studies a lot. Great. But on the other side, we have the challenge. The exam was difficult. You can feel the tension between these two ideas, right? So how do we connect them?
With pero, of course. Ella estudia mucho, pero el examen fue difícil. This one sentence shows the relationship between her hard work and the tough outcome. It tells a much richer, more complete story than two separate sentences ever could.
Here's another one we can all relate to. You have a plan. We left early. But then life happens and you hit an obstacle. The traffic was heavy. Pero is the perfect bridge that connects your intention with the reality of the situation. Okay, so we can add ideas with "yon" and we can contrast them with pero. But what about explaining the reason for something? How do we answer the all-important question, why? Well, for that we need our third power word.
And that's where you meet por qué, which means because. This is the word you use to connect an action to its motivation. It's how you give your sentences real purpose and depth.
Let's break it down like this. First, you state the action. I study Spanish. Okay. Then you provide the reason. I want to live here. See? These two pieces of information are directly linked.
And por qué is the magic word that puts them together. Yo estudio español porque quiero vivir aquí. This one sentence is just so much more powerful. It doesn't just say what you're doing, it explains why you're doing it. That's a game changer.
Let's do one more example. Why did they travel? Well, the action is they traveled, and the motivation is they wanted to know the country. Por qué connects them beautifully. It's that simple. Now that we have our three amazing tools, ya, pero, and por qué, let's see how they work to build even longer, more expressive sentences. This is where your Spanish really starts to come alive. See, this sentence tells a whole mini-story about changing priorities. Her initial dream is contrasted with her final decision, and pero is that perfect pivot point that makes the entire story clear.
In this one, it shows a really simple, logical sequence of events. First he bought the food, then he prepared the dinner. Yeah connects these actions in a way that just flows completely naturally.
And here, we see a super clear cause and effect. The action, studying a lot, is totally driven by a powerful motivation, the desire to pass that exam. Por qué makes that connection crystal clear. So let's do a quick recap.
To sound more natural in Spanish, you have to connect your ideas. It's that simple. Use y when you want to add, pero when you want to contrast, and por qué when you want to explain. These 3 little words are the keys to unlocking a much more fluid way of speaking.
By using these simple words, you can go from speaking in these little isolated facts to actually telling connected stories. So, my question for you is, what 2 ideas will you connect first? Go on, give it a try. You've got this.